right, gang, welcome in to tonight's edition of the Rob and Cale Show. It's going to be a little bit different this evening. There is no Rob Sanders here. I have to inform everyone that we've made some changes, and I've actually kicked him off. Removed his name from the. I was supposed to remove his name from the show banner, and I'll be getting around to doing that too. But yeah, guys, that's what's going on. It's going to just be me running this thing solo for a while. Actually, I'm just kidding. He had something going on this evening. Wasn't able to make it. Not able to do the show. Not a big deal. We're going to do it Carolina jackpot style. And we're going to have some fun over here with this thing. Look, it's going to be just like normal. Going to do picks against the spread. We sure would like to get some more people in here, too. We only got 3 folks. Now we got 17. Where did all y'all come from all of a sudden? So anyway, chat away if you're there. Got Uncle Lou is here. The Plump Strawberry is here. Yeah, I have 3 live streams set to start now. This is the one. The other 2, we don't need to pay any attention to. I'm going to give you my picks against the spread for the contest that we're currently in. This is week number 5. It's actually week number 5 of the college football season. I think we're calling this week number 6 of the contest. So hit the like button if you're here. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Rob, yeah, he didn't enter the portal. He's just not here. We'll have an opportunity here in just a little bit to take some phone calls. We're going to do it the old school way, but the number is down in the description box below. So you're actually going to have to call a landline tonight. We're going to do it old school way. I actually have the StreamYard stuff, but I didn't have time to get that set up. I was actually out playing pickleball with some neighbors, so trying to get some cardio in. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get my my physical fitness side on. So, but I've got these games for this coming up week written down already, and if you don't know, then you need to know. He's over in the comment section. Uncle Lou has a show that he does on Saturday mornings, and there is a wheel there that you get your name put on if you send a PayPal donation or a Cash App. It's called the rigged wheel. Kind of an inside joke there. Well, Carolina Jackpot actually won the spin on the rigged wheel this past week, and I was given a pick that I could make, and Lou would take my PayPal money and put it towards a bet of my choosing. And I chose Kansas to cover the spread against BYU. And I happened to win that bet. And I told you guys that I am an extremely smart college football YouTuber, and here we go. Carolina Jackpot gets it right. So anyway, yes, am I live streaming the game Saturday? Does the Bears shit in the woods? Yeah, I just haven't put up the banner yet for it, but I will be live streaming the game. God, that thing starts at 7 or 7:30. Anyway, 5 minutes before game time. Congratulations. Thank you very much. 5 minutes before game time, we will be going live with the South Carolina at Tennessee matchup. So I'm going to go over the picks. And you guys can feel free to chime in down in the comment section down below who you think is going to win these games and who's going to cover the spreads in these. And I also wrote down what the spreads are currently because obviously they differ from what we have in our contest. And the first game we had was Florida at Kentucky. And in the contest, Kentucky is getting 1.5 at home. Right now, Kentucky's getting 1 at home. Gotta level with you guys on this one. I'm gonna take Florida to cover the number in this game. I'm not impressed with the quarterback play of either one of these teams, I'm really not impressed with either one of these teams at all, to be quite honest with you. And I'm going to be brutally honest here when I talk about these folks, so don't sit here and get back at me with the Gamecocks couldn't. Well, look, we're not talking about the Gamecocks. I'm talking about these particular teams. Florida is just a little bit more battle tested, in my opinion. They went to Utah, tough game. They lost it. A lot of mistakes in that game, a lot of self-inflicted wounds in that game. But it still it pales in comparison, or Kentucky's schedule, pales in comparison to what Florida has played. They faced the Vols at home. They've already played a conference game. They won that game. I just think that in terms of that, this will be the first SEC game, too, for Devin Leary. It is a home game, so it's going to be a good one. It'll be a close game, but I think the Gators are going to win this one and cover that little point there. Mizzou is taking on Vanderbilt. In our contest, Mizzou is laying 10 on the highway in Nashville against Vanderbilt. The line is actually right now Mizzou minus 13.5 points. Mizzou is going to play a tight ball game against somebody. They're not going to go undefeated either. They're sitting here at 4-0 right now. If they win this one, they'll be 5-0. Last week, you saw Vandy drop that game to to Kentucky, 45-28. Kentucky had 2 defensive scores in that game, though. So, which way do we go there with that? Vanderbilt, people put a little bit too much stock into them this year, told everybody they're going to go to a bowl game. Vanderbilt might have a winning record. Vanderbilt's going to finish 6-6. None of those things are going to happen. They'll be lucky to win a conference game. They did cover against Mizzou last year. 17-14 game in Columbia. I'm going to take Vanderbilt with the points in this one. It's just a weird spot for Mizzou, and they're bound to stub their toe somewhere. Eli Drinkowitz is not a very good head coach. As long as the coordinators there are able to keep the play sheets away from him, keep the offense and the defense both out of his hands, I think Mizzou will keep on winning the games they should win. I think this has the potential to be a tight one in Nashville. I think it's going to be an ugly game also. Texas A&M and Arkansas tangling at Jerry World. In our contest, Texas A&M is laying 5.5. Currently, it is a 6.5 point line. Arkansas has covered 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two, and actually last year's game was a push. I'm going to lean Texas A&M here. They did beat Auburn in it was really very ugly game, 27-10, I think it was. Their offense, this Bobby Petrino experiment, just not really working out all that great. But I do think that they're better than what Arkansas, I think, gave their best shot last weekend against LSU. They're just like, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? It just seems like Texas A&M always wins this game, but it's always close. I'm going to take them to cover that 6.5 against Arkansas, but I'd stay away from this one. This is not a game that I would play with my money. But in the contest, I will be taking Texas A&M. We got Kansas going on the road to Texas in the contest. Texas is laying 19.5 at home against the Jayhawks. Now, 19.5 is an easy one for me. I'm taking Kansas with that. Now, the actual line in this game is 16.5. So in our contest, it had crossed that key number of 17. Now it's at 16.5. Probably wouldn't mess with it at that point. But at 19.5, I feel very comfortable taking Kansas. Kansas won for me last week against BYU. Obviously, won Uncle Lou's money. I think that Kansas can cover that 19.5 against Texas. Texas has a look-ahead spot in this game. They have Oklahoma on deck in the Red River Shootout on October 7th. So, and then after that, they have an open week. So you think they're probably kind of looking ahead there a little bit. I'm very impressed with Kansas quarterback. I'm impressed with their head coach. I mean, I don't know that there's any program in the country that has made like that 180 that Kansas has made over a couple of years. I mean, you could argue Duke, but Duke has had some good teams under David Cutcliffe. They had some teams. They actually competed for the ACC championship just about 10 years ago. Kansas has been they've been in the abyss for years before Lance Loophole got there. Pulled them up by their little Jayhawk bootstraps, gave them a good swift kick under the tail, and told them, you people are going to start winning some ball games. And that's exactly what they've done. Someone says, did you hear, Happy says, did you hear Texas A&M lost QB1 for the season? Wegman? Wow. So I guess that means Brad Johnson's kid is going to be QB1 now. Max, I think is his name. We'll call him Max Muscle. Good for him. Well, I mean, not good for him. I hate it for the Wegman kid, but they may be okay. Get back on the chip truck. I mean, what am I going to do on the chip truck in the dark? It is dark here where I'm at. UGA at Auburn. In our contest, Auburn is catching 17.5 against the Georgia Bulldogs. It's actually a 14.5 point line everywhere else. With the 17.5, even though I would still lay that with UGA. I just think that they win this game by 3 to 4 touchdowns. Auburn's not very good offensively. Just really not able to move the ball. The quarterback experiment, this Peyton Thorne thing, hasn't worked out very well. And the other quarterback they have, Ashford, who was the quarterback last year, he's just absolutely terrible. You do not want to put the offense in his hands. Defensively, they've done a decent job, but they're nowhere near dynamic enough. They're a physical team, but nowhere near enough to challenge UGA. And you got to think at some point, too, UGA is going to start clicking. UGA is going to start clicking. So I'm going to take them to cover that spread. LSU on the road at Ole Miss. LSU's laying 1.5 on the road. Right now it's actually 2.5. I'm picking LSU in that one. I think they're just a more complete team. Had a close one last week with Arkansas. I think they move on past that and cover the spread here against Ole Miss. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win this game by double digits. I don't know what Ole Miss is, really. Uncle Lou, the phone number to call in is in the comment section. Or not the comment section, it's in the description of the video. I haven't posted it yet. I want to get through these picks before I start taking the phone calls. But, yeah, it's there. And I'll put it in the chat here in just a few minutes. Bama on the road at Mississippi State. Mississippi State catching 13.5 at home. It's actually 14.5, and that's moved past the key number that's in our contest. In our contest, I'm telling you, this is a tough one. It's not in the description. Oh, my goodness. Thought I put it down there. Could have swore I did. I've got people messaging me right now wanting to know if there's no show tonight. Apparently Rob didn't let the Facebook people know that he's not doing it there. Jesus Christ. Give me just a minute here. This is an utter shit show. She'll figure it out. I ain't got time to mess with that. Where were we? Bama obviously a much better team than Mississippi State. Mississippi State can be had through the air. We saw Spencer Rattler and the crew air it out against them last week. I don't know that Bama has the tools to do that with, but laying 13.5 on the road, I would probably lay that with Alabama. The 14.5, I'm not so sure about that. I might have to lay that with Ole Miss. I mean, Mississippi State, it's just cross that key number. It's kind of a tricky one there. I'd probably stay away from it, but I'm probably going to lean Bama in that. Notre Dame at Duke. Duke is catching 6.5 at home in our contest. It's actually 6. I would mess on around in this one. I would probably lay that with Notre Dame. If you watched the game between Duke and Clemson, Clemson actually handled them up front. Not me. Lou, not impressed with your lack of professionalism. I don't know who you're talking about, me or Lou, but you know what? You can get lost either way. It really doesn't matter to me. Don't watch if you don't like it. Clemson outplayed FSU, and I'm not a Clemson fan. I don't know. Final score didn't indicate that, though. You got to play 4 quarters. You can't play 3.5. Sorry, Clemson. But Clemson did handle Duke up front from a line of scrimmage standpoint. They just weren't able to capitalize on anything. Had a lot of errors in that game, a lot of penalties. Looked poorly coached, and they are kind of poorly coached. Notre Dame and Clemson, they kind of remind me of each other a little bit. I think that Notre Dame obviously has a better quarterback, probably has a better offensive line, but defensively they've both got pretty good teams. Both got pretty strong running games. I don't think that Notre Dame is going to make the kind of mistakes that Clemson did at Duke in terms of holding on to the ball. So I'm going to roll with Notre Dame in this one. I think they win this thing by about 10 points and put an end to Duke's undefeated season so far. Notre Dame really wants to atone for that loss last Saturday night in South Bend. They got to be kicking themselves for that one. They lost a game that they should not have lost. Big Barney Ross says, let's confuse Jen Welter, first female head coach for Arizona Cardinals, signal caller on 2-on-2 ready break. Okay. Clemson at Syracuse. Syracuse is catching 6 at home. It's actually moved to 6.5. I'm not laying any points with Clemson. I don't trust them. I think this is a team that's hurting. I think they're reeling a little bit. And Syracuse is legit. They have played a bunch of tomato cans for opposition to kind of run that record to 4-0. It's a little bit of an inflated 4-0. But they have a legitimately good quarterback. And I think Dino Babers will have that team ready there. They play Clemson very close every year. 21-17 2 years ago. Last year, someone will know what that score was, 27-21, I think it was. It was a very close game that Syracuse should have won. They shot themselves in the foot. So would roll with Syracuse there, but I really wouldn't want to mess with that game. Buffalo on the road at Akron. That's the Carolina Jackpot Shutter. Clemson's schedules in the struggles in the dome. They do struggle in the dome. That is true. They lost there back in 2017. Really, really tight game there 2 years ago. If you'll remember, that's the first time I ever saw DJ Ukulele hit a cheerleader in the back with a football. Probably won't be seeing any of that happen on Saturday, but we still may see some shitty football. Yes, you can still call in tonight. I've posted the call-in number down there, and I'll let everybody know when we can start doing that. Buffalo is at Akron. Akron laying 1.5 in our contest, laying 3. as of right now in Vegas. I will go ahead and roll with Buffalo in that game. I'll take the road underdog. If you watched the live stream this past Saturday night that I did, you'll see we watched some of the Akron game, which had went to overtime with Indiana. Akron went on the road. They almost pushed a Power 5 team in Indiana to the max and almost ended up winning that ball game against the Big Ten school. I think that Akron may just be a little bit down from that one. Buffalo has played some solid football this year. They hung tough with Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago on the road. I think that is the better side, and I'm going to pick them in that contest there. D. Taylor says, is Rob not done with his dinner of 16 whole chickens and a bucket of gravy yet? Sir, you need more than one bucket of gravy if you're eating 16 whole chickens. Happy, thank you for posting the call-in number to the show there. And South Carolina, Tennessee. Right now, Tennessee is laying 9.5 at home. They are a 12-point favorite in Vegas. This is one I've kind of went back and forth on, and look, this thing was 11, I believe it was, on Sunday when it came out. Then all of a sudden it jumped up to 12.5. That's sharp bettors putting a lot of money there on Tennessee. Normally, when those lines move like that real fast and early in the week, it's usually the people who win a lot who are laying the money down. This is just, it's not a great spot for the Gamecocks. And I was staying away from this with my own money. But in terms of this contest, I'm going to roll with Tennessee to cover the spread in this game. Reason being, I think it's time for Spencer Rattler to have a bad game. And I don't mean it's time for Spencer Rattler to revert to the crappy Marcus Satterfield coach Spencer Rattler that we saw the first 6-7 games of the 2022 season. I just mean this guy has been playing lights out all year long. He's been playing lights out back into last year. He's due to have an off game. Everybody's due to have an off game like that. That happens with all these kids. Hell, Trevor Lawrence had a couple of off games when he was at Clemson. I'm thinking instead of going 18 for 20, maybe Rattler goes 15 for 23. Maybe he throws an interception. Maybe that crowd noise gets to him a little bit. I would think that by this point, that kind of stuff won't bother him. They know what's coming. But I think that Tennessee will be able to stop that. Here we go. All right, good evening. Welcome to the program. I didn't announce calls yet, but go ahead. What you got?
Oh, my bad about that.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
what's going on?
Yeah, sorry. I was just calling. I was surprised Utah and Oregon State didn't make the slate this week. Did y'all look at that one?
We usually do. Rob normally will either he or I'll normally pick like 10 games that we like, and then we'll pick a shitter game. And he had picked like 9 games, and like 6 of them I liked. 3 of them I thought were atrocious. He picked Coastal Carolina and Georgia Southern for some reason. Not that there's anything wrong with those schools. That's not my jam. That doesn't make the cut for a Cale Hall shitter because neither one of those teams are shitters. But it's not like a regional. I don't know. I didn't like that one. And then we had Colorado and USC in there, and I've had enough Colorado for a while. So I'm kind of done messing with them. So. Yeah, that probably should have been one in there. I probably could have replaced Kansas and Texas with that. But sure, I think the Beeve win that game. The spread in it right now is the Beeve is catching 3. Or no, they're laying 3. I'm sorry. They're 3-point favorites at home.
Yeah. When's Rising supposed to check back in?
I heard he could play this week. Then maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I mean, is Utah undefeated right now?
Yeah, Utah is undefeated.
No, I mean they may not want him back in right now. I mean that's just. I mean that could just end up screwing up what they got going on. I mean,
Well, they played, I want to say, like 3 quarterbacks already this year. So they've
yeah.
got, like, no consistency going for them right there.
B. Swan says they're going to need Rising on the road. Yeah, probably so. If he doesn't play, I'm definitely going with the Beef. I think it's the ukulele is due to have a decent game again. He's looked kind of pedestrian, to be honest with you, the past couple of weeks. When the competition kind of elevated up a little bit, looked kind of pedestrian against San Diego State. He didn't look great to me either against Washington State. I don't know if that's the right side or not, but Utah generally struggles with them.
Yeah, the other game I think that's going to be good this week, I saw y'all got in, was that Ole Miss LSU game. I just think it's kind of a shitty week this week for college football, but I'm looking at those 2 games to kind of bring it home for me, to be honest. I think that Ole Miss game is going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I think LSU wins that one. I mean, they had a very close call last week. I think they get back to business this week and probably handle Ole Miss. I think they win by at least a touchdown, if not more. I think LSU's pretty good. They just got to get it all put together. What do you think? What do you think about the Notre Dame Duke game?
I think Notre Dame comes out and smacks them in the mouth.
Yeah.
Honest.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. Calling number is 864-490-4660. 864.
Duke's played Clemson, but outside of that, who have they played?
They beat Northwestern. I'm not sure who else they beat. Somebody would know.
Yeah.
I know they beat Northwestern. They beat Clemson. They beat someone from North Carolina. Who have they played?
I think Notre Dame comes out and you saw how they looked against. They should have won that Ohio State game first of all, but that's another story. But just based solely off of how they look, I think they go out and absolutely dick slap Duke. It ain't gonna be close.
Okay.
This will be like Syracuse and Clemson last year. Except, fallout's gonna come early.
What about my South Carolina and Tennessee prediction? What are you thinking? What do you think of that one?
Well, I could go both ways. I understand Rattler can't play as hard as he's been playing all year, but I just think with the improvement I've seen in the O-line week to week, I haven't really seen much out of Tennessee's pass rush. I think we'll be able to run the ball on them. Probably not as well as Mississippi State, but I think maybe we get, right around 100 yards. I think it'll be a close game. I think whoever wins it, it'll probably be like a 10-point game, to be honest with you. It'll be close up to the end. But I'm kind of with you. I think Tennessee might get it. But I'm just kind of a pessimistic Gamecock fan anyways. Anytime something has good as well, I'm expecting us to lose the next week. So
That's where I'm at too. We got Devin Hayes over in the comment section talking about South Carolina's giving up the most sacks in the SEC. Yeah, skewed by a 9-sack terrible performance against North Carolina. Since then, I think they gave up 2, 3, and 2. So
no, they've looked serviceable in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, that North Carolina game for South Carolina, it didn't do us any favors. I mean, that loss despite the fact North Carolina is undefeated, that it just kind of skewed and screwed up a whole lot of categories for South Carolina from the sack perspective, from the rushing yards perspective. I mean, they're still near the bottom of the country in rushing yards, but they rushed for almost 200 yards pounding the rock on Saturday night. But you wouldn't know it because they rushed for like -2 yards against UNC. Well, that's like when you hand in a 0 for a test paper. It's going to fuck your grade up. Doesn't matter if you get 2 or 3 A's, you're still going to end up with a D- average.
Well, yeah, and just they haven't gotten over, at least the rest of the college football landscape hasn't gotten over the picture of that. I mean, you got Shador Sanders getting sacked fucking damn near 30 times, and nobody talks about how bad Colorado's O-line is, but you got that week 1 performance from us, and that's all I really hear from any of the talking heads.
Fireball over in the chat says Shane Beamer seems like a speed addict. I'm not trolling. I'm being serious. Your head coach seems like a little Debbie addict, and I'm not trolling. I'm being serious.
Hey, he's got a neurological condition. I don't think he can help that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we're sitting over here making fun of him, though. That's great. Yeah, these wonderful people. Yeah, Tennessee. All I heard all summer long from these fans is they're beating us by 50. Josh Heupel's going to score 110 points if he can. Probably going to break the scoreboard at Neyland Stadium. Blah 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 blah. Then the Florida game happened, and they all shut up. It's like they went into a cave and went away for a little while. Now this week they're starting to come back out and they're chirping a little bit because they beat something called UTSA. That was on like its 3rd string quarterback, and wasn't even good with the 1st string quarterback. Nowhere near what they've been the past few years. Okay, whatever. They're wearing some dark. Why are they wearing dark Halloween uniforms a month before Halloween? Can anybody explain that one to me? Dark.
I want to look cool.
Dark mode activated.
I'm pretty sure this will probably be the biggest game in Neyland this year.
It is. It's their Super Bowl. It really is.
Yeah.
Those idiots over there, and I'll go ahead and talk about them because I don't talk about them on my channel, but I will this week because it's Tennessee week. Those idiots over there at the Talking Balls channel actually had a show today, a segment called Revenge. I mean, just in big bold capital letters, revenge. Revenge for what? I mean, South Carolina could have beaten you worse than what they did.
We put our fucking backups in. They're so salty, man. I swear, these guys wake up, they got a picture of the fucking scoreboard, and they just sit there and cry for about 30 minutes, and then they go about their day. Like, it's all they've thought about all year long.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's not South Carolina's fault that you didn't play well. It's not.
Well, that, and I saw something, somebody was blaming South Carolina for the Hendon Hooker injury, talking about they're going to get revenge for that. I think it was some fan on Twitter. But, wasn't that a non-contact injury? Or I could be misremembering that.
I can't remember. I'd had 2 or 3 alcoholic beverages by the time that happened in that game, so I'm not sure. I think it was. I thought it was when he was just running down the field.
Yeah, I thought he was like cutting or something, and it just gave out.
I was just running down the field, and his knee just crumbled.
But yeah, they'll just. They've been thinking about this game all year, and it goes to show. I mean, I think they know that we're kind of the 2 teams that are ascending in the SEC right now, and I think they know South Carolina's going to whoop their ass. And Beamer's the fucking man to take us to the top.
I wanted to show everybody this, too, real quick, while we're talking about teams that are ascending in the SEC East. Get these off the mantle. I own these. I got these from my friends at the Mizzou Cast. They sent these to me as part of a care package along with a hat. These are a bag of the Luther Burden Old Vienna St. Louis Red Hot Riplets chips. I guess he got some NIL money for them suckers. Anyway, they went out of date at the beginning of January. But these are going to stay on my mantle until we beat them. When we beat them,
that should be a good game for you and Jackpot Jr.
Yeah, when we beat them, I'm going to eat these.
Are you going out in the
Yes.
garden behind the end zone?
What's that?
Where are y'all seats? Are y'all sitting down on that hill?
Shit, no, on those rocks. No, I don't think they have tickets. I don't think they have tickets for that. No, it's in real seats. When we beat them, if we beat them, I'm going to eat these at the stadium. If we don't beat them, then these are going back up on the mantle, and they'll stay there until we do. If we don't beat them until 2028, I guess I'll be eating a 7-year-old bag of potato chips.
Damn.
Kind of like somebody drank a 40-year-old Coke a few years ago.
Yeah. The Crystal Pepsi, you mean?
No, no. Uncle Lou drank a 40-year-old Coke because.
Oh, a Georgia one?
No, when they lost to Alabama in the 2017 Natty game in 2018.
Well, I'll tell you, I hear Columbia, Missouri is actually a hell of a college town. I've read great reviews. Have you ever been down there?
No, never been to the state of Missouri.
It's ranked as, I was reading some article, it's ranked as like one of the best college towns in the SEC, as a matter of fact. Which you never would have thought, given it's freaking Missouri, but.
I'm sure it's fine. It just gets a bad rap from a lot of the old hat SEC programs that have been around forever, like Auburn and Tennessee and Alabama, that think they own the damn joint because they've been around here forever. They like to shit on Mizzou.
Well, now that I've been kind of looking forward to next year, kind of processing all the changes that are going to happen. Where do you think? I kind of have my thoughts, but where do you think South Carolina kind of fits into the pecking order whenever Texas and Oklahoma join up?
They're in the middle of the pack. They're probably there's 16 teams then.
Yeah.
10, 11 probably.
Really? See, I had them at 6. I had them at 6 because you got to think Lenora Sellers is coming in. He's going to be their starter. Our O-line all going to have a year under their belt. They're all damn near freshmen anyways. By that point, Nicholas Harbor is going to be integrated. We're going to have Dylan Stewart on campus.
Right.
I hope hopefully, this year, I think, I'm kind of with you. I think it's time for Clayton White to probably go. Yeah. We can do better we have to be able to do better than that.
Yeah. All right, sir. I'm going to see if we can get anybody else to call in here, but I appreciate it. And
take care.
Go Gamecocks.
Yes, sir.
864-490-4660 if you'd like to call in and, talk to Carolina Hackpot. I'm sitting here hacking all over the place to the next caller. See if I can address some of y'all's comments here whilst I'm waiting to see if we can get anyone else here. The 6th best team in the S. Whoever this is unknown. Good evening, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? Can you just give me the number so I can have it written down from now on? Give me the number real quick.
864-490-4660.
Okay, thank you.
He'd have known that's in his cell phone there where he just called it. Good evening, welcome to the program.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good.
Good. When you made your Tennessee, South Carolina pick, I'm assuming the uniforms is what did it.
That's part of it. That's part of it.
Yeah.
I think there's an intimidation factor there.
Obviously. Now, did you know that this was their 5th different uniform this season?
Yeah, you educated us on that yesterday. I would not have
5 uniforms.
I would not have thunk it.
Why? Why is that? I wonder.
You know, these programs that are always in some kind of state of flux like that. Seems like they're trying to atone for something, maybe trying to hide something.
State of flux.
You know, well, it's just weird. I mean, why? You don't see. Well, you do a little bit, but not really. Notre Dame doesn't change uniforms a million times. You don't see Penn State change uniforms a million times. Hell, you don't see Georgia doing it. Hell, you don't even see Clemson doing it.
Has anybody ever worn 5 different uniforms in the first 5 games of the season?
I'm sure Oregon has.
Maybe Oregon.
Kentucky likes to mix it up a little bit sometimes. They had some silver. They had some really nice looking silver helmets on Saturday, and I got to beckon the question: why are you wasting them against Vanderbilt?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense. But no, not to this level. Not lately. Oregon's pretty much they stayed kind of the same, right? The green jerseys with the yellow trim.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure Tennessee will bust out a checkerboard helmet or an orange helmet. They haven't worn the orange helmets this year. I think they wore the orange helmets last year against the Gamecocks.
Are they going to checker Neyland again?
I don't know if they're going. I don't know when they're planning on doing that. That they can't be doing that Saturday night though because they've got dark mode activated. So
do you think Tennessee will have any home games this year where there's not some type of a gimmick other than their offense?
No, I don't.
So they're going to have a second gimmick every home game. The offense plus something else.
I think
like
so.
Uniforms or whatever, checker kneeling.
I mean, they'll probably have some dunking booths or like a fair type atmosphere out on the concourse of the upper deck, like a fish in a barrel, throwing darts at balloons or some craziness.
How many different uniform combinations did Tennessee wear in 1998?
1998?
Yeah, 2.
I think 2.
A home and an away.
Yeah.
Okay. And one last thing before you let me go. I liked your bag of chips there. But now today I was in the gas station, and I maybe this has been around a while, and I just never noticed it. And I almost bought it. I wish now maybe I would have. I could maybe let my kids try it. But it's Dr. Pepper flavored cotton candy in a bag.
I've seen that before.
It looks like a potato chip bag, but it's Dr. Pepper flavored cotton candy. Can you get a hold of some of that and let us know about it?
Sure. There's also some Hawaiian Punch flavored cotton candy. Looks almost the same too.
Yeah, that's right. And what's the deal with Rob Sanders? You said.
He just had to be off tonight.
Right. A lot of heat incoming there.
I think it was. He didn't want to hear it from the Syracuse fans. He knew they were probably calling in tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for the Gators on the road.
I'm not messing with them. I'm not picking Clemson until I see some improvement.
Well, I need to see them at least beat a Power 5 team.
Shit, I don't know when we're going to be able to see that because I don't know who they play after. I don't know who they got after Syracuse. They're a Clemson fan over in the comment section that can tell me who do you have after Syracuse that you feel confident about beating. I mean, they have Miami this year. I think they probably lose to Miami. think they're losing to. I think they're losing to North Carolina. They have after Syracuse. They have Wake Forest at home. They'll beat Wake Forest. Wake Forest isn't very good this year. They have a bye week. Then they're at Miami. That's a loss. At NC State, they'll probably win that. NC State's rather disappointing. Notre Dame loss. Georgia Tech at home. Toss up at this point.
Do you think there's any game where Clemson will lose the stats?
Lose the stats.
Yeah, this is all they want to talk about. The Clemson man.
Oh yeah. That they outgained the other team. That they got more first downs, more time of possession.
Against Duke and against Florida State, they outgained them and had the ball longer and had more whatever average per this and like on and on.
Yeah, but everything except for the scoreboard, which is what ultimately matters. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I heard they're building a statue right next to that pet rock.
They might build it in place of one of those racist statues they took down.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe.
You know, yeah, you never know. You never know with them what they might do. So
That's true.
all right. Well, Southern Cal by 40. Have a great day.
Have a good evening in that. Love that guy. 864-490-4660 if you want to be on the show. Yeah, Clemson has outgained both teams that they've lost to, though. That is a fact, but, when you turn the ball over, you have piss-poor clock management, you're not going to win ball games. They don't concentrate on special teams enough, and I was complaining about South Carolina. I think concentrating on special teams a little bit too much, doing some silly stuff that really, we need to concentrate a little bit more on our blocking, our tackling, and our fundamentals, especially in that game against North Carolina. Really, really had me hot. If you guys listened to the live stream or watched it on Sunday night or Saturday night also, the Mississippi State game, you will see me come unglued when we scored the touchdown to go up 2014, and Beamer called for the holder, who was Kai Kroger, the punter, to sprint to his right, throw back across the field to Tonka Hemingway. And Tonka Truck has caught a couple of two-point conversions. And I like that play to Tonka Truck, but it wasn't the right time in the game for it. If we were up by 14 or 17 points and had Mississippi State really on the ropes, yeah, then maybe we could do it. But you just scored a touchdown to break a tie. And we're going to do that. You essentially gave a point away. That point may have been important in the game. Now, ultimately, it wasn't, but at that point, you didn't know that. So, we do some silly things, but with Clemson, I don't understand the situation with the field goal kicker. You're a national championship program. You're a program that talks about going to the playoffs in the offseason. Leading up to the season, well, we've got a good quarterback this year. We've got a good running game coming back. I think we can make a serious run at the playoffs. I do. I really do. I think we're going to win the conference. You don't have a kicker? I mean, what the fuck? How do you not have a kicker? With the Gamecocks, we didn't have a running back. We lost ours to the transfer portal. They didn't lose their kicker to the transfer portal. That guy had been there for 5 years. He's graduating. It was his last year. They knew this. You're supposed to be a national championship coach. You have to cultivate some special teams. Come on. You got to go get a guy off Wall Street. He was going to start a job at Wall Street as an investment banker, and he decides to come back to Clemson and enroll in some online class so he can play around with Dabo's bunch and kick the ball around. It doesn't make any sense. You ain't getting no NIL money. Why are you doing that? Something must have fell through with that job of his. Because there ain't no way. I know investment banker, he's probably the one who's going to be fetching coffee for the senior investment bankers. But that's a better gig than kicking for Clemson. I'm sorry. Papa B says they use their special team scholarships on Sweeney's. Yeah, yeah. Just wasted. B. Swan said if they get a decent kicker in the portal, maybe they'll win that game. Yeah, I mean, I wonder what he thinks about the portal now. He doesn't, you got to twist his arm to even go try to get anybody out of it. I wonder if he'll try to get a place kicker out of it. He definitely needs some. I lost my Dabo this morning. I found him hiding under D's. I hear you. Is Rodney Scott's barbecue in South Carolina as amazing as people have said it is? I have no idea what you're talking about. You know, the Kentucky Wildcat football fan and his wife showed up to the South Carolina game tailgate. There's tobacco juice on both sides of the pickup truck. I hear you. Yeah, that's nuts. It's Tennessee week. I'm looking forward to this game, despite the fact that I have the Vols winning the game. It pains me to have to do that too, but I'm a glass half empty kind of guy until the Gamecocks really show me that consistency that I know we're all looking for. I just can't side with them to win a game on the road against a ranked team that traditionally they've had problems with in that particular venue. They've won, I think the last time South Carolina won in Knoxville was, way back in, somebody have to tell me, was it 2017? It was 2017, and that Tennessee team didn't even win an SEC game. Prior to that, I think it was back in 2011 when South Carolina knocked Tennessee off. That was during one of our string of 11-win seasons. I think in 2009, I think Lane Kiffin had some Halloween uniforms on when he played South Carolina and beat us. But I think it was actually a little closer to Halloween. I think it might have actually been on Halloween. It wasn't a month before Halloween, like they're wearing the dark mode activated jerseys on this year. You get cheated in Knoxville. SEC officials let the home crowd sway their calls because they have no balls. SEC replay won't save you either. I don't know. Isn't that where the mustard ball got thrown? Broccoli says Dabo won't take him transfers at Clemson because he wants to teach a Christian lesson. You can transfer to a different college, but you can't transfer to heaven. That's very interesting. Black unis with orange numbers. Super scary. Yeah, whatever. 864-490-4660 if you want to call in and be part of the show. I'm going to hang out here with you guys for just a little bit longer. It's been a long day. It's going to be a long tomorrow. Driving about 50 miles from home just to start my route out in the mornings now. So that's interesting. I actually don't get to actually start delivering on the route till about 6:30, 7, as I'm driving down the road to Greenwood, South Carolina, and in that area. So, yeah, the Gamecock almost bit ugly. I wouldn't be too intimidated by their uniforms. Yeah, I saw that before the game started. John Doman says Dabo could have picked up a kicker in the portal. Yeah, I think he has one. A young man's last name is Gunn. I think that's who there was supposed to be their number one place kicker. I think he wasn't it. He just wasn't able to level up, and so they had to try to look somewhere else, and that ended up being on Wall Street. Yeah, craziest thing I've seen. So Maurice at the Piggy Park owner. Yeah, I've heard about him. He's the one that had the barbecue sauce that they removed it from the shelf of a lot of stores. Some places you can still get it. He created a big riot back in the day when it was announced Stevie Wonder was going to perform in Columbia. It was for Stevie Wonder to not come. That's crazy. It's Stevie Wonder. I mean, what the hell? One of the Clemson Tigers and Possums have in common. Both play dead at home and get killed on the road. They do. Both of them get forked by Duke. From Wall Street to Paul Street. That's a crazy story. Hopefully he can kick better in the dome than he did in Death Valley this past weekend. But I don't know about that. Remains to be seen. I kind of have my doubts. At Spencer Rattler, it's really, really unfortunate for the Gamecocks that Juice Wells isn't playing. We were told a couple of weeks ago that they were going to hold him out until the Tennessee game. The doctor wanted him to rest his foot. And now it's turned into we're not going to play the Tennessee game. We're going to take that week off. We're going to take the bye week and then get it rested up, and we're going to be ready for the Florida game. Or no, how's it? Yeah, take the bye week and then get it rested up and get ready for the Florida game. Hell, I can't remember how that works. Do we play Florida? Florida's after the bye week. So he'd be ready for the Florida game, and then the stretch of games that comes after that. I guess we'll have to live with it. It's the only way we're going to get him back. But it could be like some of these Georgia wide receivers that just get put on the old proverbial milk carton and you never see them again. I don't think Lad McConkey has played a single down for Georgia this year. Thank you, JD Wick 76. Appreciate it. The dude ain't coming back. He has a broken bone, and the draft's coming up. I don't think we'll see him play either, to be honest with you. I think he's probably played his last little bit as a Gamecock. And that was a nice one, though. That last play that he was in took the tunnel screen from Spencer Rattler, like an 18-yard touchdown against Georgia. Scott Cooley says a workmate Greenwood route from Mayfield Milk and RC Cola some days, nearly 50 stops, lots of stores in that area. There are. It's a lot of little stores. You don't have the convenience stores in that area like you do up here in Greenville and Spartanburg, and around here we have a lot of QT stores, a lot of Spinks convenience stores. You just don't have those in Greenwood. You got a lot of mom and pop stores. It's a little different. Leggett is showing out. He definitely is. He's leading the SEC in receiving right now. But whenever anybody talks about who the best receiver is in the country, it's Marvin Harrison Jr. It's all about Marvin Harrison Jr. It's not about Xavier Leggett. I guess everybody's double teaming Marvin Harrison Jr. But I mean, how can he not have the damn stats? He's played a bunch of nobodies. Played Youngstown State, freaking Western Kentucky, and I forget whoever the hell else they played to open up the season. Notre Dame. There was that thing. Hopefully, Marion Brown is supposed to play this weekend, according to Shane Beamer. He's going to be back. He can stretch the defense a little bit. He definitely has to keep them on their toes. Culver's opening in October in Anderson. Yeah, one of those opened over here in Simpsonville at the beginning of the summer, probably in like May. I've been to a Culver's up here. I think it was in Greer. I did a food review on the Rockabilly channel at that Culver's. Big Barney Ross, thank you for the super chat. It says Kentucky fans never do this, but if Milton doesn't play, what are you going to say to all Only reason South Carolina won is because Milton didn't play comments. I'll say the same thing I did to the Kentucky people last year. You got 85 scholarships, and it's not our fault that you haven't cultivated a backup quarterback. Even though your said backup quarterback at Tennessee is a true freshman. True freshman. He's going to get drilled if he goes in there. I don't like that. I don't like seeing a true freshman as your backup QB, but I mean that's what you got at South Carolina. Luke Doty is listed on the depth chart as the backup quarterback, but I guarantee you, if it came down to it, he's not playing quarterback. Big Barney Ross, thank you for the other $10 super chat. Certainly appreciate it. Jake Fromm said Mississippi State sucks. Never said they were world beaters. They definitely do have some talent on their team. Just kind of try to figure out how to use it. You know, it's kind of like they they changed offensive philosophies right after Game 3. You know, we go into Game 4 against the Gamecocks, and all of a sudden we want to become an air raid run and shoot team again. You know, and stop pounding the rock like we were doing before. They tried to pound the rock against the Gamecocks, but it didn't work. South Carolina missing 7 O linemen. Yeah, between a couple of starters that are out and a bunch of backups and freshmen. Yeah, excuse me. You got a true freshman, Marquis Anderson. He's a high 4-star from Dorman High in Spartanburg, which is so close to here you could throw a rock and hit it. He's out the rest of the season, hurt his knee. Ryan Brubaker, who's a second-year kid from Pennsylvania, is another 4-star that's really hasn't even seen the field. He's out the rest of the year. Jalen Nichols, the left tackle, who got hurt in the spring game, is supposed to be back at some point this year, but we don't know when. And I think he's on the Juice Wells plan, too, of not returning. Fireball says Alabama 42, Mississippi State 24. I don't think Alabama scored 42 points. Just be honest with you. I mean, they didn't put up 24 points against Ole Miss. If Bama loses to Mississippi State, they need to forfeit the season. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they do. I think it would be highly unlikely. Clemson leaving ACC announcement supposedly coming soon. Okay. I'll believe that one when I see it. Even Roll Tide says we won't come close to scoring 42. Now, I'm not trolling. I just haven't seen it. Big Barney Ross says he thinks Kentucky wins 9-6. You know, I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't. Between those two, Kentucky and Florida, I don't like either one of those teams. There's no love lost there between any of them. But man, I gotta go with Florida in that one. I just think they're more battle tested, and I think that I just think Kentucky's not that good. Everybody raved about Devin Leary. I mean, did you see his stats in that Vanderbilt game? It's like 15 for 29. Against Vanderbilt? Come on. Brockley says he trusts the Gamecocks against UT. He understands the environment will be tough. The environment will be tough for the team. That's less of a shot at the team, more a compliment of the passion of the fans. Yeah, I understand. BB, thank you for that the Florida Gators like me. I mean, it is what it is. I've had some run-ins with some of them in the past. If Kentucky beats Florida, it helps South Carolina gets Florida 2 losses. Yeah. Yeah, definitely a hard one to pick there, though. That Texas A&M Mizzou or Texas A&M Arkansas game will be another big one. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to see Arkansas win that thing. It is a rivalry spot, but I got to go with A&M in that one. Does anybody know why? What is the reasoning? Why is that game played in the Dallas Cowboys Jerry World? And it just, I don't understand that. And they only started doing that like within the past 7 or 8 years. It's not like they've been doing it for 50 years. Will Eubanks, a Tennessee fan, he thinks the Gamecocks win. I think Milton's played fine, but the offensive line has struggled pass blocking. I mean, I get that. Our pass rush is not that formidable, though. Tim Russell said it's a throwback to the old Southwest Conference. Did they play in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium when they were in the Southwest Conference together? Or did they not play at Arkansas? And it's right in the middle of College Station in Fayetteville. It's just like I don't understand either two. Like Arkansas plays 1 game a year or 2 games a year at the stadium in Little Rock. And then the rest of the year they play in Fayetteville. I mean, it's crazy. How does that work for somebody that hold the season ticket holders? Do they get a seat in the stadium in Little Rock? I think it's smaller than the one in Fayetteville. Where's Rob? He's out tonight. I had something I had to take care of, so I'm just doing this thing solo dolo. And I hope that I was able to entertain, inform. Probably said the Little Rock games suck compared to Fayetteville. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, that stadium, from what I've seen on TV, it doesn't look good on television. It looks smaller than the Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville. So, yeah, I don't really get that one. I don't get it at all. Me being actually Googled to get an answer to my question. I appreciate that. People stay on top of things. Yeah, if you want to know, you got to know. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think South Carolina wins thanks to a few forced turnovers and then capitalizing on them. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Look, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to see the Gamecocks win that thing. That would be akin to, last year when they went on the road to Kentucky. I didn't think they were going to win that ball game. But they went up there and did it. Going to Neyland Stadium, though, winning, and then versus going to Kentucky and winning is, no disrespect to Kentucky. It's a different animal, especially when Tennessee's good. And Tennessee does still have a good team. They're sitting there at 3-1. They lost to Florida, and to them, they act like the season's over. There was not even a reason to play the rest of the games. We're done. Blah blah blah. I mean, I'm like, guys, come on. You lost 1 game. You lose to Florida a lot, especially in the swamp. Let's see if we can't get over it, and I think they will. Is there an additional injury update on Joe Milton? What I understood, he had an MRI done on Sunday morning. Somebody posted a picture on Twitter, and I don't know if it was a real picture or if it was somebody else, or if it was made up or whatever. But it's a picture of him getting an MRI done. They were like in the hospital in the emergency room section or in the doctor's office or something. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, it kind of violates the dude's privacy a little bit with taking pictures of him fixing to go get his MRI done. I just thought it was a little bit cringe. That's just me. I mean, some things need to be left alone. Fireball says, please hit him low in the other knee. You got to be kidding, right? Do you think Auburn has anything for Georgia? No. 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 I think Georgia will start to flex their muscle Saturday. They haven't done it all year. They got to get up off the deck at some point. And Auburn just doesn't have the offense to really do much of anything against that Georgia defense. Roll Tide says Twitter is plagued by soy boys and mouth breathers. What the fuck? What the hell is a soy boy? Is that a Chinese feller? You say soy like as in soy sauce or soybean? Oh man, wow. Soy, yeah, I don't know. Do they like soy milk? I don't know what a soy boy is. $42 points a game. Yeah, the Dogs are slacking. I mean, to that point, you played some, you've played some crappy competition. I mean, we all know that. And hairy leg. I guess everybody's just expecting, Georgia to be up 35-0, 42-0 at halftime against the crappy competition. But it's more like they kind of coasted to wins. And maybe they were just trying to work some kinks out, and it's just kind of a boring little stretch there. And then when you did play a conference game, you kind of got pushed a little bit. But somebody's always going to find a narrative to tell me why I'm wrong. Soy boy means soft. I kind of figured. I'm going to use that. Tennessee's defensive line is full of a bunch of soy boys. Might use that Saturday. New team takes time. Wow. We just called them pussies back in my day. When was back in your day? 2020. You're not old enough. That was my day. You don't hear that term. You stopped by the Shady Maple the other week. Oh man, how much is it now for a buffet? Like when we went last year in October, I think it was like $50 a person. I want to say it's pretty pricey. I mean, it's pricey, but it's worth it. Just wondering if it went up anymore since then. Plus, it's delicious. If people have not ever seen my video of that, check out the video from back last October. It's actually on this channel, not the Rockabilly channel. It's also, it's $54 a person. I think that's about what we paid. But I've got a video of that up too over on TikTok. You don't stop. Or you make me feel so good. It's the same exact video. Oh man. Well, guys, this has been a good stream. Had a good show here. I'm looking forward to the games this Saturday. Obviously, this week's slate of games is not as good as what we saw last week. Last week was probably the best week of college football I've seen in the past 5 years. Great games from start to finish. We don't have that this year or this week, but at noon, what you gonna have on your TV at noon? I got that Clemson game on. I got Clemson and the Fruit will be on. I want to see that one. I want to see Mizzou and Vanderbilt. I want to see a little Texas and Kansas, obviously. I want to see who's Michigan got. Michigan's got Nebraska. We didn't talk about that one today either. That's a spot where I expect Michigan to win pretty handily, but that Nebraska defense could slow that running game down enough to cover that spread. I think it's about 18. So over that one. Oh, Zona Tucson also over in the comment section. I forgot to give him a little bit of a shout out. His team plays at home. I think it's at home this Saturday night against Washington. And they're an 18-point underdog, and look for them to cover that number. Washington is not going to go through this season just beating everybody by 30, 40 points. They're going to have a game somewhere or another where they get pushed a little bit and tested, and I believe it could be there. Arizona's got a really good quarterback in Deloria, the kid who he was a transfer from, I believe he transferred from Washington State to Nebraska or to Arizona. And they got a really good coach there too, and Jeb Fish has got that program on the uptick. Look for Washington to struggle a little bit. They may have a problem with them. I also look for Colorado to put up a few points on Southern Cal this weekend. I would take the over in that game. I think everybody just assumed that after they got their ass kicked by Colorado that Deion's boys were just buried and they weren't going to come back, and they're just going home and everybody can forget about them, and they're not going to be a factor at all. And not that they're going to be a factor, but I still think that they can have a decent showing of themselves, especially against some of these teams that just play zero defense. And that's what Southern Cal is. So that'll be an interesting one to watch for sure. But I think that game comes on at noon too. Does that mean those teams are starting at 9 o'clock Pacific time, like 9 a.m.? That's crazy. Carolina women's soccer versus Tennessee on ESPNU. Oh, I'll have to go check that out. The Braves just walked off their game against the Chicago Cubs. 6-5 they won. They've been sucking ass lately, too. Once they clinched the NL East, they just put it in cruise control. Don't need to do that. You'll forget how to win. Anyway, I appreciate it, guys. Live show on Saturday, live stream on Saturday night. Make sure you're here if you're not going to the game. This is going to be lit. I will see y'all later. I appreciate you. Peace, and I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks.